And hello, guys. Welcome back to the True Flames podcast with Henry and
Candy cane.
Kandi. So, Kandi, in this podcast, Kandi wants to confess her undying love for Jay Griff.
Oh God, where did this
I know
come
you were
from?
like, where am I going? Where am I going with this?
I'm like, oh God, what are you airing right now?
No, obviously I'm joking, but yeah, Kandi kept talking about Jay Griff, so I started to wind her up like she secretly fancies him or something.
No, I don't secretly fancy him.
Whatever you say. But you said Aaron Abke was more your type.
Yeah, he's hot. That's my Midwest accent. Hot.
He's hot. So, and I noticed like a lot of women find Abke attractive, right? Why do you think that is?
I mean, just look at him. He's like conventionally attractive.
All right, next topic.
Yeah, he's he's muscular. He's good looking. He's like clean cut. He takes care of himself. He's
I
really
guess
nice.
I wasn't planning on talking about it, but it kind of leans into that topic. But I guess, where do you separate projection from fantasy? And by fantasy, I mean, that sounds like I'm saying both the same thing, but okay, let me differentiate. So projection would be it's not real. Fantasy could be real, but it could involve something not real, like a person not real, if that makes sense.
So I would say, I mean, the safest way is like what actually happens in real life versus what's happening in your head. But then you also have like things happening energetically, and you don't want to confuse that with fantasy.
Yeah, so here's where it gets interesting. Like, do these women that fancy or find Aaron Abke attractive, if they were actually in the room with him, talking with him, meeting him, something, do you think it would still be there, that attraction?
I think it would just depend on the woman, right? Because what are you finding attractive? You're watching a video, so you're not actually interacting with this person. And the way their energy interacts with you, you're not going to be able to see until you actually meet them in person, right? So I would
Yeah.
say anytime anyone's like looking at someone on a screen and hasn't actually met them and interacted with them, that it's projection.
This is why I think dating apps have always failed,
Yep.
because they're taking someone on the basis of appearance, and it's really hard. Even if they look very attractive, you only know when you meet up with them. And even then, there's another thing that comes into it, which is like time, money, energy, effort. So
Mm-hmm.
let's say this person you swipe, they're like a 10. Okay, then you chat to them on the phone, like, oh, okay, something a bit weird there. It drops to like an 8. Then you meet up and they say something weird and it's an odd vibe. It's like a 6. But because you've gone all that effort, you might just sleep with them anyway because you're like,
Oh my God. This is like the most male perspective of dating apps.
The funny thing is, I was trying to give the female perspective. If I was giving the male one, it's even more lowbrow, you know?
I don't
It would be
know.
like, how do I describe? Like, he might even see her and not even show, like, he might just ghost her by seeing her and then walk away. I know
Mm-hmm.
guys that have done that. They've seen the woman physically and then they've gone, fuck that, and they've walked away, left her there.
That's awful.
But do you know why, Kandi? Because
I
there's a lot of
think,
fucking catfishes on these
well,
things. They
yeah,
literally
but I
pretend to
think,
be these models and they're not. And it's like,
yeah,
what? Who are you fooling, you know?
but I think, you should have the balls, because I've had to do it. You should have the balls to just go up to someone and tell them, well, you don't look like your pictures.
Okay, let's say they were a different gender than they told you. How do you handle that?
Just very straightforward. Like, hey, I agreed to meet you on the terms that you were a
Didn't
woman, and
have
then
an
I showed
Adam's
up and
apple.
you're a man. So you can see how, like, you're trying to trick me into consenting to something that I'm not consenting to. Like, I had that happen where I go on this app, I meet this guy, and I kept having a psychic tell me I'm going to find a lumberjack. And this guy looks like a lumberjack.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking, and he's going on and on about how he loves rock climbing and he's so fit. And I'm pretty active, so it's like I would like a partner who's active. So I'm like, yeah, we click. I go over there. He's gained like 60 to 70 pounds from his pictures.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I still like his personality. We'll see how it goes. And at the end of it, I told him, like, I felt kind of misled. And he was like, by what? And he couldn't, like, even, it was like he didn't realize that he doesn't look that way anymore, which is another interesting thing, right? Is
Yeah.
and I really think he genuinely was like, what do you mean? He was like, well, my beard's a bit different. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Like, do you not have any awareness of how you look compared to how you used to look?
That, I
And
don't
then,
think some people do, because I like work in schools as a teacher, but sometimes I forget I'm the teacher. I might be like, hey, I'm like one of you kids, while I'm like male pattern baldness, like, I'm
mhm,
assuming that, because here's something weird, like, I live in a small town, so you keep bumping into students that you've taught in lessons, and obviously in their mind, they're like adult person. This is someone who's like they're a category of adult, basically, right?
yeah.
When I interact with them, I'm interacting with them like, "Hey, what's up, man?" Like, and then I forget. I'm like, "Wait, why did I do that?" Because that's me naturally. When I'm in the school, I'm playing a role. I am a teacher. I am a certain status. I must uh, stop the chaos from forming in this classroom. It's a whole persona, right? And
Yeah.
even they play a slight persona because they're the rebellious kid, the one who doesn't want to learn, the one. But when you meet them outside, I'm just like, I know they're not like, there'll be people who used to be at the school, now they're in college or whatever. So I'm kind of treating them like young adults, but at
Mhm.
the same time, they're probably thinking, I don't actually know what they're thinking in that moment, but I'm talking
Exactly.
to them like one of the homies, you
Mhm.
know? And it's the same way I kind of talk to everyone, I guess, apart from maybe like old people. So I have like a certain demeanor with everyone below like
And you
80.
change for old people.
For old people, I'm not going to be like, yo, sup, grandma? Like, I'm not
I
going to like
will. I feel like
fist bump her and like,
I act the same with whoever I'm with, and I feel like that also takes people by surprise, and they're like, "What?"
yeah, but I think it's also the youthful energy in me never left. It's still
Yeah.
there. I vibe with them. I get it. Sometimes I'm like, I don't understand this humor. Like all
Well,
these
that's
weird
why I love
terms.
old people because I feel like a lot of them still have that youthful energy, and you got to bring it out of them, and then
Oh
it
yeah,
comes.
they can be quirky and weird and stuff. And I think they're the same. They don't look in the mirror, see old person. They probably
No.
see 20-year-old that was on a motorbike smoking weed, whatever. So they can't they're like, why are you not treating me like that? Why don't you see me as old? It's like, all right,
Yeah,
granddad.
exactly. Exactly. And I don't know, I guess mine never grew past like 5 years old because I just feel like a child out in the world on the loose. And most people mistake my age for like a teenager. So I guess it's just radiating out of me.
Yeah, to me, I think the beard and the male pattern baldness gives away my age. But if I was wearing a hat and I was clean shaven, I think I can get away with looking way younger, because my appearance is youthful and my energy is youthful. And yeah, like my friends, I would say some of them, they've gotten old, even though we're all the same age.
Yeah.
They're moany gits. They're just old. They're boring. They only want to do things that make money and stuff. And I'm just like, this is not the person because a lot of my
They just
mates are
forgot
friends
how
from
to have
school.
fun and play.
Yeah, like a lot of my mates are from school. So to me, I've got that same dynamic energy. Another thing I'd say is like time wise, I don't see a difference in time. I'm not living in the past, but I don't deny the past and I don't deny the now. They're all one thing for me.
Mhm. Yeah, that makes sense.
What about yourself?
Um, I don't know. I always feel the same age. Like I just felt like that for the last 15 years. I guess since I became an adult. Like I used to feel a difference of getting older, like becoming a teenager, becoming a young adult, whatever. And now I just feel the same. It's weird.
Like when somebody brings up a period of your life 20 years ago, do you see that as like, oh no, that's not me anymore? I'm not that person. I'm a different person now. I'm more mature. Like, how's your response to it?
And in some ways, it depends. Like if someone is treating me like who I was 20 years ago, it's weird because it's like you don't really know me.
Yeah.
You know a version of me. So I see it more as like a version of me who knew less
Hmm.
or was aware of less.
But does how different is it to you? Like past life different, or is it kind of like fun memory different, or feels like a dream different?
Almost like past life different, like a whole different version of me.
Yeah, yeah. I would say it does feel like that. Each one of them's its own chapter life sphere,
Hmm.
but they're all there to recall that a thing, like a click my fingers, and it's all there. It's not like I compartmentalize it and go, no, that's off limits. There's no
Hmm.
off limit in my brain of memory to the point where I did notice this. The more I kind of integrated those aspects that I was denying, all those random childhood memories just come up out of nowhere, you
Yeah.
know, especially the trauma one.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
They love to just pop up.
yeah, some things happened where maybe at the time you compartmentalized it, but then as you've gained a kind of grounded awareness and you've allowed it to sort of come to the surface, yeah, it's suddenly like, oh shit, that memory from 30 years ago, I forgot, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, especially because I've been in the healing space for a while, they have this idea that they're almost going to, like, when they heal, they're going to, like, erase this version of them from the past. But what I've experienced is more of like that version of me always exists. And there's always going to be a part of me that faced that trauma. And for that version of me, it was very real and horrible and traumatic, and that version of me is still within me. It's just now I'm the version of me who has learned and grown from that trauma, right? It's still there. It's not just like gone.
Hmm. I even notice it energetically in like geopolitics with countries, right? A good example would be like Iran, which used to be Persia. Like, have you ever seen any photos of Iran in the 60s and 70s?
No, I haven't.
Well, it's like a luxury first world country. You know,
Mm.
there's no Islamic regime. It's just like women are free, doing whatever they want, smoking, dancing, clubs, parties, art, music. And then that's still there, I think, regardless of the regime that changed it, right? And I'm
Hmm.
not going to get into who's responsible for all of that because we all know that it's always there's a C, there's an I, and an A involved. So what's the point, right? Everyone knows this shit. This has been going on for how many years now? But
What are
anyway,
you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. This is for entertainment purposes only.
yeah. So it's the same story. It's like the fucking whatever the thing is to go in, do some kind of regime shift in that country. Who knows?
Hmm.
But like my point being is those people still have that in their blood. The country still remembers. Even the country itself has this kind of ancient culture and stuff. I think one episode we talked about the Aryans. That's Aryans went into Iran. That's the whole story of it. They're the original Persians.
I don't know anything about this, so I'm gonna have zero to add.
Just type Aryan like mythology or Aryan history, and it comes up with the link to Iran. And there's
Hmm.
kind of like this old religion before religions existed. Speaking about this, they had
Where did
texts
the
there.
blonde hair and blue eyes come in then?
It's a mix up with a different thing. So that
Mm.
those are like angels, or where the term angel came from, which was they were found in the north, is what they would say, right? Or they
Mm.
descended from the north. So you can think of descended of the north as in came from heaven, or you can think of descended from north coming from, like Sweden, Norway. And if you think about as above, so below, it's going to be both, right? So
Hmm.
genetically, that blonde blue eye thing is a northern hemisphere thing. You don't see it in the south,
Yeah.
but it's also an angelic analogy, i.e., the heavens above. So anyway, my point was though, shit, I forgot what before we got. I knew I was going to open up a rabbit hole. With that. Oh, so in England, in the UK, lots of Iranians protest here, and they've been protesting for years to get back to the 60s, 70s Persia that they had, right?
Mm.
And it's like, why? Why do they not just come to the UK after all that crazy chaos and just, become English? Why do they have it in their like DNA almost that no, I need to restore that thing? Because it's like a memory in them of a time they felt free or alive or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to die. It's not going to just change into British culture or Islamic culture. It's their own thing. And it's not represented currently. So it keeps protesting around the world. Like there's Iranian protests in every European country. I think in America as well, in the US. And it's like, that's interesting. It reminds me of when Tibet got invaded by China and the Buddhist monks spread out across the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't kill the energy. It just transfers where it was, and it
Yeah,
just
and I
keeps.
also wonder too, like, if what's happening currently, that's always in the energy, you know? Like, it doesn't just come out of nowhere. So, like, the freedom might be part of it, but the other side of it, the repression, is also part of the energy of it, of the place itself.
Well, this goes into like the whole energy consent thing, right? To some degree, everything involves an energetic consent,
Mhm.
which is why, South Korea is technically free and North Korea has remained this regime,
Mhm.
because to some degree, people struggle to understand this, but to some degree, those people have accepted this is how I'm supposed to live, this is what I'm supposed to do. It requires a kind of dissonance to say, no, I reject this before any
Yeah.
revolution, collapse, etc.
Yeah, and I mean, you can see it here in America. Like, so many people are so against, like, they're finding out about what's going on in Hollywood, what's going on with the elite. They're finding out about the government being corrupt, and they're all revolting and blah, blah, blah. And consumerism is horrible. Yet then they go out and they go buy products from the people who own all of these things. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
energetic consent.
Yeah, and they also do this thing where they might say, I have a problem with Hollywood, and then watch all the movies and pay with their money
Yeah.
to those actors. That's energetic consent. That's a contract. You've basically
Exactly.
paid. And even the term, ooh, getting in the rabbit hole, entertain, you've entered it. You've entered it into your attainment. There's a contract there, basically. So you got to be not careful. There's no like, oh, it's scary, but like, there's a contradiction there. Essentially, if you're entertained by the thing you oppose, then you don't actually oppose it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing people don't realize. Like, you can't complain about the taxes and then pay them. That's
Yeah,
consenting to it.
that's one that I always laugh at. How dare they use our money for this? I can't believe it. Well, you paid
Yeah,
it,
and then you like have proof of what they're using the money for, and
and you
you're
still
still
paid it.
doing it. You're still consenting to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and look, it's a very recent thing, this whole tax thing, and we've said this before privately, but for thousands of years, there's plenty of times people said, I ain't paying that shit,
Mhm.
you know, because eventually they disagree with the monarch, the tyrant, the ruler, the emperor, whatever it is, they've
Yeah, and if
gone,
you
fuck
if
that.
you really look at it, like, not doing it today, the consequences aren't even as bad as the people who were saying, "No, we're not gonna pay it," before. Like, because before, they probably really could just shoot you or hang you or some crap. And
Yes, yeah.
now, yeah.
Now they threaten you with like digital ID.
Mhm.
Like, you better do this or else I'm gonna track your internet history. It's like, oh, so scary.
Now everyone's gonna know the weird things you Googled.
You better do this or I'm going to get you to face scan every time you watch porn. You better, pay your taxes. Like, ooh, I'm so scared. Like, yeah, I also, might have said this before as well, but I noticed there's a huge energetic difference between the 60s and 70s when everyone was getting assassinated to like modern day, where someone tried to assassinate Trump like 6, 7 times now, and, and he's still fine because I don't think deep down in him there's any energetic consent of fear of submission. So even if someone else has the energy brewing of they want to take him out, his electromagnetic field has said no. You know?
Yeah, no. Yeah, and people don't realize that you have to consent, and they don't want to. Because then they're like, wait, what do you mean I consented to getting hit by a semi truck and breaking all
Hmm.
my bones?
With people like JFK, Martin Luther King, etc., I actually believe their souls had consented prior because I think they would want to go out with a bang to wake people up.
Mm
But on the 3D level of Earth at the time, yeah, the things were a bit more blurry. People were in a fear. Everything was so 3D. It was like, oh, at any moment, my rights can be taken away, you know?
hmm.
So
Yeah.
different today where we go, I don't really give a fuck about these
Our rights were
words on a
already
paper.
taken away. Like,
Well, yeah, even the idea that this government thing gives you your rights, like fuck,
yeah,
fuck off.
exactly.
So, with that being said, the shadow integration part. I was wondering when people chase the spiritual persona, do they draw a hard line on anything 3D and they kind of see it as like below them?
I think some people do. I think it depends on the person, right? I mean, I've seen people who they just almost disassociate from the quote unquote 3D world completely.
Yeah,
But that to me is an avoidance because I don't even see two different worlds. I see it as one world,
yeah,
right?
because
Like the
when you
3D can be telling you just as much as if you're meditating and ascending and getting messages from higher dimensions. You can get the same messages out in the 3D world if you just look.
Yeah, let me tell you when we were doing the podcast and I was telling you one of my friends wanted to do content as well, but I found it slightly contentious, right? A
Mm
part of me still thought about it and was like, am I denying an aspect of myself that isn't so holy? You know?
hmm. Mm hmm.
Because we've been brought up in a world where PR, image, brand, like all these things are like supposed to be important, but I don't know if that's the future going forward.
I don't know. I mean, to me, it's just all fake, right? And I think we've moved into that as a society, but a lot of people actually crave like authenticity.
Yeah, but do people accept that people are multi-dimensional? I don't think they do.
No,
Like
I
it's
mean
getting better,
some people might, but not like the general collective.
Yeah, so like back in the day it would be like you are a doctor, this is what you do, you are an actor, this is what you do. Now
Mm
people kind of wear multiple hats, like I'm an actor, I'm a singer, I'm an artist, I'm a political speaker.
hmm. Mm hmm.
But I do notice some things are so charged, whether they're polarizing almost, that as soon as someone finds out another side of a person, you see like this guttural reaction, like, oh my
Yeah,
god, i
because
had i had no idea they thought this way, unsubscribe.
Yeah, because what's happening, what how I see it is that they weren't actually, and this is projection versus fantasy. They weren't actually interacting with the person. They were interacting with their idea of the person.
Yeah,
And so they paint this picture of who the person is and they expect the person to fill this role in their life if it's guru, whatever. And then they see another side and they're like, "Oh, how could this person fit this role?" And you see it all the time, not just in scenarios like this, but even in like real relationships where you have an idea of who your partner is and then they don't fit that role and you're like, "What the fuck?"
yeah. So as conscious beings, are we supposed to 100% ignore that and just do whatever the fuck we want?
That's what I do.
Because there's a part of me that's still, I'll give an example. In my young brain, because I was so into the filmmaking, my brain just went, filmmaking's important. Make sure you do everything to attain this, right? So
Mhm.
if something came along which was like, hey, dude, you want to like do this kind of job, or you want to like do this instead? I'd be like, no, no, I'm a filmmaker, right?
Yeah.
And then I had other interests like music. I would like rap and stuff like that. So I would be like in my brain, okay, so maybe I can be the rapper that turns into a filmmaker, and kind of like organize it so it makes sense. And I'm talking like early 2000s. So this is like a very industry. There's no such thing as like a social media age. So I'm trying to like
Yeah.
make that make sense. And then now with the podcast and the fact that I've got this spiritual side, which I can only really express with you honestly here, I can with other people, but I can't take that to family, close friends in my vicinity. You know what I mean? I can't.
Yeah, and that's what I'm here to destroy, because I want to be able to just be my full self no matter who I'm with. And a
It
lot
should
of
be that way,
people,
shouldn't it?
yeah, and a lot of people fight with me and argue with me when I start bringing up spiritual things. And I just don't argue with them. I'm just like, okay, if that's what you believe. I mean, sometimes I'll poke because it amuses me to get people all riled up, and maybe there's a sadistic part of me, but it's just like, why? Like, why can't I believe what I want to believe? It has no effect on you, right?
Yeah. And at the moment, I'm like, okay, I could do this spiritual thing with Kandi. Maybe I can do like a deep gnosis like course or something, or like a
Mm-hmm.
video program. Then I can have maybe that 3D thing with that friend as the podcast. Maybe I can discuss film with Connor. But then before you know it, I've basically created 18 different compartmentalizations of myself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Just bring it all together.
But then that's the thing, it's not, no one can hold all of that to get apart from me. I can't force that with someone else. I can't, I
Mm-hmm.
can express even parts of me, like even my YouTube is like a weird mix of, okay, my music's on there, me ranting about Resident Evil games, and me making a serious film essay, then me going into like some esoteric knowledge with Final Fantasy. It's like a weird mishmash.
Yeah, but I think that's what social media should be, right? You should be able to like explore every aspect of yourself, and you're kind of doing so while exposing these parts of you to the world. But the more that you show your own versatility through your social media, the more that other people will eventually accept that no one is this cardboard cutout that they had in their head
Yeah,
before.
you in a way have to lead by example, I guess.
Mhm, that's the hard part.
And to what extent do you cut it off? Like, let's say, oh, I'm also going to have an OnlyFans, and I'm also going to be a serious filmmaker, and I'm also going to be a street MC rapper. Like, where do you draw the line? Do you just keep going?
I mean, it's up to you, right? I'd say like follow what you feel passionate about, and maybe you only feel passionate about for a week, and then you're just like whatever.
Yeah, some things I feel like I would describe it as the field circles in you and it wants this thing to express and it keeps coming back. I kind of listen to that. Every now and then the mind might come in with a funky idea of how to quickly make money or do something cool or fun. Those are the ones I tend to ignore because I think that's more, it's responding to the zeitgeist noise that's going on.
Well, yeah, because there's this energy in society of the second that you have talent or they feel that creative energy in you, that the system itself is like, how can I make money off of this?
Yeah. Because I remember back in the day, I had that in me, and some guy was like, yo, we should do pranks.
Yeah,
Because 2014, 2015 pranks were the shit. Like 2013, like
and now
pranks were
they're
like
all fake
all over.
pranks.
Yeah, and I remember like I made this video with a James Cameron speech where he says people are always going to push you in a box, make you what they want you to be, and I happened to put the footage of me with this prank channel at that part, and I was like, why did I do that? And I realized there I was kind of shining bright, and then someone was like, I know what this guy's good at, pranks.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like people can feel the energy force in you, and they want to like mold it into something. You know what you could be? Do you know how much you could make?
Yeah, and I get it. Like, it's like maybe there's some truth to it, but it's not. They haven't even asked if you're interested in that. They've just
Yeah.
assumed like this is what you'd be good at.
Yeah, like so many people I show my art to and they're like, "Oh my god, you should put it on tapestries. You should make coloring books. You should do
Yeah,
this."
yeah. And also, I notice sometimes when someone's trying to be helpful, they come from the "you should," don't they?
Yeah.
And it's not always helpful because it just scatters your mind. Because it's like you might have an idea about, oh, I think I want to take it this direction. Someone throws you a "you should," and now you're like, oh, there's another path
Should
here. And
I?
yeah, do you ever get like caught up in that? Do you ever have moments where you've had a specific direction, someone threw you like 10 or 5 "you should" moments, and now you're scattered?
I feel like I used to, but now, and I mean, people even complain about this when I was younger, that I just don't listen to anyone. What's the quote? The best advice I can give you is don't take any advice.
Yeah.
I heard
I
that at a
also
young
like
age and
an
I've
opinion
embodied
is
it.
is like an arsehole. Everyone has one, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So it's like people I know like I'm aware of when someone says you should that they've now left the present moment. They're in their own head and they're projecting what they think I should do, which is what they would do had if they had this talent onto me. And that's when I'm just like, "No, I'm good."
Yeah, it can be like a their inner child screams out through your expressions. And then they say, "Oh my god, you need to do this." But it's really
Mhm.
like their inner child projected onto your
Yep.
demeanor, face, energy.
Yep. And so it's like I'm good. I'm going to do what I feel is right for me in the moment.
Yeah. So yeah, before when I was my boundaries weren't as strong, I think I would get this anxiety in me when someone's trying to box me into something, and then
Mhm.
I'd react like, "No, I'm just doing my own thing," like that was my my
Yeah, like
reaction.
I've definitely had that and I've had like people convince me to do things that probably weren't in alignment with what my soul wanted to do with it because
Hmm.
they're like, "Oh, think of all the money you'll have and think of all this." And
Yeah, like some things on paper just make so much logical sense that you give into it for a moment because you're like, yeah, that could go viral. Yeah, that could get me
Mhm.
networking, whatever. But something in your soul is just like, nah, just there's nothing there. It's like a dead battery. You're just like, what is this?
Yeah. Yeah, you're taking the energy of passion and putting into something you're not passionate about. It's going to die.
Yeah, okay. So now I tend to, when people give me their ideas or something, I won't just instantly say, no, I'm not doing that, or like, that's not for me, because before my boundaries were quite weak. So I kind of felt that if they suggested something, I'm accidentally going to agree. you
Mhm.
know, Now I kind of just listen, and then I listen to what my body is telling me because your body will tell you whether this is for you or not. If there's no real signal there, I go along with it. I go along with it until I'm like, okay, the signal is either uncomfortable or deadness, like no motivation.
Yeah.
Whereas if there's like a pull or a ping or something in the chakras, like, ooh, an excitement, then I know, shit, this is aligned. But actually, when that happens, it's not normally just someone being like, you should do this. It's almost just a conversation
Mhm.
occurring. But that brings me into an interesting topic, which is boundaries, because
Boundaries.
energetic empaths, being
Doo-doo-doo.
sensitives, they struggle with boundaries. And I feel that the evil grid, the grid prefers us without boundaries for many reasons. But let's first start with like moments where you've had to develop boundaries or your boundaries have been blurred with people, etc.
Well, I would say first of all, like boundaries themselves, like were very foreign to me because I grew up in a family that was enmeshed. Like there was no emotional privacy.
Mm,
And as a child, I was like having my parents tell me things like because they wanted me to hold these emotions for them that I shouldn't have been responsible for holding. So I think that's what creates this thing within empaths where they don't have boundaries, right?
mm,
But I've learned. that I'm like, I think the most important thing is you're just not responsible for how anyone else feels. So if you
True.
don't want to do something and you say no, you have to just accept that they might get mad and they might get upset, and that's fine, but you don't have to do what they want you to do.
That's a good point, actually, because I think I was telling you about some drama I was watching on YouTube. Whenever I need to ground, I watch some bullshit drama, so I'm not floating in the ether all the time. But there was a guy who just kept appeasing this narcissist because he was like, I didn't want him to feel bad. I didn't want him to feel wrong. I didn't want him to feel discriminated.
Mhm.
And it was like, but he appeased him like 100 times, and this guy just kept taking and taking and taking. Before you know it, he's taking extra money. He's taken this guy's time, this guy's energy, because this guy probably has a similar thing, like you said, where you feel you don't want to rattle the
Yeah.
cage.
Especially when you're an empath, because what happens is like when people don't have their own energetic boundaries, their energy just bleeds into each other. And like that's how most of society is existing. So it's almost like as an empath, when someone's angry at you, you feel that within yourself. And you have to learn to energetically first be like, no, like I'm not
Mm.
taking that. And then it will kind of translate into you being like, no, I'm good. And I feel like when you first start doing it, because you have these beliefs in your head that you have to for so long, and that if you don't, people will react a certain way. People are going to react strongly because they're going to reflect your own belief back to you. But as you just come to accept that you're not responsible for how they feel, it gets easier and they accept your no a lot more, because you can make it clear to someone like, no disrespect to you, I just don't want to do that, right? Like if someone's like, you should do crack with me right now, and you're like, no, and they get angry about it, like that's their problem.
Yeah. And I noticed that a lot of my close friends all were like people pleasers to a degree. I think I was the worst. It depends what
Yeah.
time you look at, but I think I was the worst. Then I have a friend who's like second, third. But to a degree we all were, and then we would wear these like passive aggressive masks when we don't get our way because we're not telling the person, hey, you're not respecting my boundaries. So then instead you get like arsy with them because they're doing something but you haven't communicated it.
Yeah, and you're almost like you're abandoning yourself and what you really want to please another person, and it's not fair to them either, right? Because what are you giving them then? You're giving them a fake version of you, right? Like if
Yeah.
I ask someone to hang out and I can sense that like they don't want to, I was like, it's cool, like don't worry about it. I don't want I don't want to hang out with you if you don't want to hang out with me. You know what I mean? And you're just doing it to appease me or
Yeah,
whatever.
when I pick up the appeasement, I'm usually trying to communicate to them, like, just so you know, if you don't want to do this or if you don't agree with me, you don't have to do it. Even though they should know that, but I feel like they need my permission to be like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, a lot of people don't. And I mean, I think it stems from like your childhood, right? Because like when your parents said something, you almost had to do it if you wanted to or not. And we were like just kind of brainwashed into subservience at a young age. And now we
Hmm.
grow up and we're like just expected to be able to stand in our own power and have strong boundaries. But whoever taught us to have boundaries?
No one.
Yeah. Like
And
my
even
parents
like,
don't have boundaries at all.
yeah, it's a weird one, right? Where did you learn to have boundaries?
The
Pain.
internet.
The biggest teacher, pain.
Yeah, the internet, psychology, and just experience, right?
I
Like,
used to watch those videos like on YouTube, like how to set boundaries as an empath or blah blah. But they never worked for me for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe because it felt like rules, and I was like, I'm
oh,
not following
because
these
it's like
rules.
I said, like the real way I learned is energetically, right? So
Yeah,
once
same.
I began to understand what was happening energetically, and I woke up and could see, like, and feel when someone's draining from me, I could feel it in my solar plexus.
Yeah.
That's when you're kind of like, whoa, well, what's that? And I feel like a lot of new age spiritual witchy people like see it as like, oh, this person is taking from me. So when you really step into sovereignty and into your power, you realize no one can ever take from you. You have to give it to them. So all
Yeah.
these times where you felt like someone's leeching from you and taking, draining, it's like, no, you've been freely giving them your energy, and you can just stop. And like, that's when you take your power back, right?
Yeah, and I think that's an interesting point you made, because I think like with me it was there was a rage initially, like I would just explode in rage when someone's not respecting my boundaries. Then it would
Yeah,
be like, wait a minute, why am I even entertaining them, allowing them, to enter my close circle, my time, my energy, my inner circle, so to speak, when
exactly.
I know this person doesn't respect my boundaries, and they never have and they never will? Why do I entertain it? You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and people who don't respect boundaries are never going to react great to you having boundaries.
Yeah, they
They're going to
always
try to
switch it.
manipulate you
Yeah, like a
into.
gaslight thing. Oh, you're so sensitive. No, you're so insensitive.
Yeah, and then to me I'm just like, okay, I'm so sensitive. All right. Like, you just have to not, like, I've learned to not attack or defend, right? So it's like, if someone
Yeah.
comes in and is attacking me, it's going to stop there. There's going to be no more energy to it, because I'm not going to defend myself and I'm not going to attack them back. I'm just gonna be like, okay.
And I think the explosive rage is handy, right? I don't know if you've had it, but
Oh,
for
yeah.
me, it was like, when dogs growl, they
Mm-hmm.
growl, they growl. Well, that was me. I growled, they ignored the growl. So what do? I bark super loud. I show my teeth. And they go, oh,
Are you
you
like
know?
the skunk? They like shake their fists, like, bitch, I'm about to spray you.
Well, I thought the dog analogy was more like alpha male. I wasn't really picturing myself as a skunk.
Wow. You don't think Pepe Le Pew is an alpha male?
Who's that?
He's the skunk from I think the Looney Tunes.
Yeah, and I mean any animal, right? Like I was watching some cool videos. This guy on YouTube, he's got these two tigers in South Africa, and the tigers do the same thing. They love this guy. He's obviously family to them. They would never want to harm him.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, but whenever he puts their food out and he's near their food, one of them specifically, right, the more dominant one is like, but like it's a tiger growl, which is even scarier. It sounds like
Yeah.
that Dolby surround sound rumble. Like when you're in
Mm-hmm.
the cinema, like that's how it sounds. And I'm like, that's innate in the animal kingdom, consciousness, etc. Boundaries are so important, especially for sovereignty. How the fuck do you have sovereignty without
You
boundaries?
can't. And I think like that another reason the anger is important is you need to recognize who this anger is really at, because if you can only give your power away, then the only person you're really angry at is yourself for continuously giving your power away. You're not really angry
Mm.
at them for violating the boundary, right? Like, so that's how I bring it back to myself. Like, yeah, they violated a boundary, but I kept letting them, and now I'm mad because it's the 7,000th time they've done this.
Yeah, and
When
there's different types, isn't it? It's not like some people violate the boundary because they're incredibly unconscious to the point where
Yes.
their world revolves around them.
Yes, like, I think that's the issue with my dad. Like, he just doesn't understand at all. He just barges into my room
Yeah.
sometimes. Like,
And some are like living in some trauma and they're trauma dumping all the time on you. And you're
mhm,
like, dude, grow the fuck up. But like, yeah, so it's different. I sometimes my best way is just I'm busy, right?
mhm,
If I can't be bothered to get into the entanglement of the emotions and calling them out on their bullshit, that's my first thing is like I'm busy. If they don't respect the I'm busy, then I move more into like, look, you have to respect. I have to lay down like a rule set.
mhm.
And if they ignore that, then it's like block. Like what else can you do?
Yeah, because like I've had people like that where, they see my abilities and they sense how good I am at listening and being present with them, and they get addicted to it. So then they want to call me all the time. They want to talk to me all the time. And
Yeah.
it's like every time I agree to it, especially when I feel internally a no and I still agree to it, I'm letting them walk over my boundary, right? So I'm
Mm.
just reinforcing this behavior in them,
Even
which is,
people I don't think are malicious, can still do it because if they've basically not integrated aspects of themselves, they tend to rely on other people to do it for them.
yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I think if you look at like a child, right? Like a child is going to get to an age where it's going to start trying to push boundaries.
Yeah.
And if you're not consistent, if you let them do it one time and then you don't let them do it another time, that teaches them still that it's okay in some way, shape, or form. It's like you have to repeatedly choose yourself and let them know like that's not okay with me, right?
Mm.
And I've seen it like with myself a lot in dating where, if you have a boundary before you ever meet someone, like if you have a boundary like I'm not going to sleep with someone on the first date and then you break it, whose fault is that? It's not theirs, it's yours, right?
Yeah. And what? That's another topic I want to get into. So let me come back to that after we finish boundaries, because that's what I want to ask you about, these rules on dating.
The rules of dating.
Yeah, so it kind of opens up a whole category, right? So, but
Okay.
what I want to say is, I laughed there for a second because you reminded me when I was younger. I never had a younger brother, right? So
Mhm.
I was the younger brother to my brother. My sister was only like half a year or a year and a half younger than me, right?
Mhm.
I'm shit with math. So yeah, there was a so my dad married into a new family, so now I had a younger brother who was like a stepbrother, right? But when he was like, I don't know, he must have been 6 or 7 or something, 6, 7, and
Oh
I
god.
and I was like 14, 15. He kept doing this thing where little brothers do this, where they test the older brother. They keep annoying them, pushing them, hitting them, or something. I don't know why they do it, right? And I was just like, "Fuck you!" And I locked him in a bathroom because I was like, I'm sick of him always kicking my feet or like,
I feel like that's just a very, I almost see it as innocent, like this innocent male energy of where they're just like, what can I get away with? Like, and it excites them. They want to know how far they can push.
Yeah, I don't know. It must be something as well of how we learn boundaries or how we learn, like, because think about it. As a kid, you keep pushing and pushing, and you get told no. So now you know when you go out in the world, you can't just push people around.
Yeah. Yeah. But if you don't get told no and they just let it happen and yell at you, then
Hmm.
you can go out in the world and push people around, right? And people do.
Yeah, those are called criminals. But I'll get into that as well just after this. But I want to just go back to the thing with my brother because I locked him. So he kept like I was like lying on a sofa watching something, and teenagers they're more like, let me just watch some cool music videos, let me chill out, They're not
Hmm.
into the whole thing of like testing, pushing, like unless you're an idiot. But like, so I was a chill teenager in that sense. But then he's obviously young, hyper, and he's never had any siblings. This is the first time he's got like an older brother kind of thing. So he
Hmm.
keeps kicking my feet, pushing my feet, and I'm pushing back, push back, and it gets exhausting to the point where I'm like, that's it. I just pick him up, put him in the bathroom with the toilet, like
It's
shut
like
it, and
what you
then
do to a dog.
yeah, like lock him in there, and then he at first he's like knocking, knocking. He's like, let me out, let me out, let me out, and I'm just like, no, not until you behave or something like that. And then I go back down, sit watching my music videos. He goes silent, and then I think my dad came downstairs and he's like, Dad, let me out, Dad. And my dad opens it, goes, how did you get locked in here? And then I'm like, yeah, my bad. He was being annoying. I had to, had to lock him. And then my sister found out, and she was like, they call me Harry, right? That's my family's nickname. So she's like, Harry, you can't just lock him in the toilet. What the hell? Like, and I was like, he was annoying. What do you want me to do? Be annoyed all the time? Like,
Yeah,
so.
exactly. You have to. You have to set something up.
And yeah,
Or
you
just punch
reminded me
him.
what.
Just punch him right in the face. Like
See, yeah, that is what other dickhead brothers do. Like they'll smack him or something. I didn't do that. I just said that's enough. Here's your timeout. In this toilet.
At
But
least he didn't eat the toilet paper.
yeah, like what else is funny? Okay, this is just another story. It's kind of funny. So there was like this little French kid. This is same kind of time, right? Who came
Mhm.
around when I was out with my dad, my younger brother, etc. And he kept he was like had ADHD. He was bouncing off the walls. He was crazy. And then he kept attacking people all the time, right? I don't know why. One time he jumped in like a puddle of water. It splashed on everyone. So everyone's got muddy water. My dad, for whatever reason, he had like a sports drink bottle, right? And he just
Mhm.
squirted it at the at this little kid. And then the little kid's almost about to cry because he's like, "What the hell?" Like he's drenched in this orange. And then my dad was just like, "Yeah, you deserve that for messing around." So even my dad wasn't like the best with boundaries either, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's hard too because you have to realize that like when someone is purposely trying to get a rise out of you,
Yeah.
like they enjoy it when you're angry. So if you react with anger, it just
Yeah.
riles them up to do it more,
My
right?
dad had the explosive rage. I had the explosive rage, but I feel that my one was justified. That's the only way I'd say it, is like I feel like my one was just fine. Maybe my dad's is as well, but there came a point where he turned into like more a bully with it. Like I know people are scared of me when I explode, therefore I'll explode. I
Yeah,
never
have
did
you
it like
ever
that.
read The Celestine Prophecy?
No, what's that?
It was like a spiritual book, I think in the 70s or 80s, but
Yeah,
it's written as like it's as like which one's is it nonfiction? No, fiction. Fiction's the
fiction's
one
made
that's
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's written as fiction, but he talks about control dynamics
Hmm.
and how everyone has like a control dynamic, and I think the ones he names are aggression, which is this is basically like how we get our energy from each other instead of going to source,
Yeah.
God, whatever you want to call it, the great spirit. So aggression is one of the ways, right? And then there are other ways like poor me, he calls it, which is like basically making someone
Victim.
feel guilty
Yeah,
for
yeah.
you. Yeah, that's my mom. And then there's like the interrogator. So
That's it, like, yeah, that's my dad. But.
yeah, that's there's like the interrogator. That's just the parent that's always questioning everything you do, but there's like a little condescension to it. Like, oh, are you sure you want
Yeah,
to do
this
that?
reminds me because my sister does therapy. She gave me like these, I think it's like a triangle of different dynamic, these roles that play, and it's similar to that. So her one is like the psychotherapy version of this, I guess. And yeah, she sent me like these diagrams on it. And ever since she did, I'm conscious of what role I'm playing in other people's lives
Yeah.
and how to step out of it. I don't want to be the I solve all your issues person, you know?
And that's exactly it is what he explains too is the other one too is aloof. So it's like people who are just avoidant as a way to get your attention, you
Those
know.
are, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, interesting. Those are the ones
That's
who
the
ghost you, right?
that's the one I struggle with. Yeah. But I think when you find out your own, then you can stop reacting. Like I realized I had a lot of the avoidant one and the like, oh, poor me type one.
Yeah,
And
I don't want to ever be the poor me. Sometimes it comes out,
yeah.
and I'm like, no, I don't want to. Like,
But
my
when
life
does it
is
come
kind of
out?
shit, but I don't want people to take pity on me. Like,
Yeah, but let's say like when does it come out? Because usually when someone's really aggressive, it's gonna bring out that part of you, right?
yeah,
So it's like, oh, you're so mean, and look what you did to me, and you yelled at me, and what are you really doing energetically? You're
mm,
like, you should feel bad for this. Give me your energy.
yeah. Because I have a friend who, when I used to know him, I played the role of like a savior, guru, whatever the fuck, right? And for some fucking reason, it's been decades since, but he still thinks that I'm that, and he still tries to get me to play that role. And it's like no
Mhm.
matter how many times I tell him like that ain't me, I don't think he gets the message. So I just kind of
That's just how
what,
he sees you, right?
yeah, like what can you do in that situation apart from just like not interact? Like,
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, that's what I think that's what it comes to a lot with me is like I'm just not going to give my energy to this anymore. And so like if the person messages me, I already know they're going to walk over my boundaries and it's been proven to me that no matter what I say they're going to continue doing it. Then I just not as interested in responding, right? Like
here's a good one for you, Candy. Have you ever gotten, whether it's text or in like your vicinity, the energetic equivalent of like when someone does that to get you hooked, like like a
yeah. Yeah.
oh me again. Hey,
Yeah.
it's me again. Some
What's
shit's happening in
wrong?
my, yeah. Like people do that to me sometimes, and Yeah, no, I used to work like promo, which is on the street, so you're giving out shit on the street. So I'd be like 12 hours near a station. Those people just fucking orbit you, being like, oh, can't ever catch a break these days. God, it's draining.
It is. And I feel like too, when you fight against it too, if you try to like point it out to someone or directly say like, hey, you're not going to take my energy in some way, shape, or form,
Mm.
that's when they fight back. So I
Yeah.
think it's more of like a mental thing. Like I said, it's an energetic boundary where it's just like, yeah, that's not happening, and you don't
Yeah, they
play the
when I was
role.
more malleable, more like lenient with my boundaries, those people's they're just drawn to you like magnets, right? It tends
Yeah.
to be, yeah, as you're a bit more assertive and I'm okay with this. And also I think some people, like say me and you, or like me and my old personal trainer, like I could tell this is a nice guy who doesn't know how to say all right, goodbye, or you know, like,
Hmm.
or with us, we could talk forever until one of us says, okay, goodbye, right? So
Yeah.
I notice like there's a new dance I have to do with people like that because they're not trying to drain you and
No.
you're not feeling drained. So the thing could go on forever, but
Mhm.
you consciously have to say, it's like something where you go, I admire your energy, peace out, you know. So with my old
Yeah.
trainer, like when we see each other in the gym now, obviously he doesn't train with me anymore, but like he wants to talk, I want to talk, and but then we're going to distract each other from our workouts. We're going to get annoyed with each other because like, oh, I'm not working out. So instead I have to just consciously be like, cool man, I'll see you around, like
Yeah.
at the perfect like calculating the time to do it. And I think he's trying to do it, but he doesn't know when, so I'll do it on his behalf, you know.
Well, that's interesting because I actually had this friend, and you asked where did I learn boundaries. I learned this one from her because I used to be the kind of person where no matter where I went, someone will come up to me, start talking to me, telling me their life story, and it would be draining. And I'd be like, I want to get out of here. But
Mm.
I'd keep listening. And this friend, she's British actually, we'd be like in a group setting talking, and she'd just walk away. And I'd be like, what the hell? And
Okay, that's interesting.
I see her do it all the time. And then I asked her one day, she's like, well, I'm just done with this conversation. And I'm like, well, why the fuck can't I do that? And I started doing
Hmm.
it because I'm like, just stop giving them attention, right? Just you gotta just be like, no, I'm done. Bye.
Oh shit! You reminded me of do you know Alan Partridge?
No.
So it's like a British satire comedy, right?
Hmm.
But British humor is always everyone's passive aggressive or trying to please each other. I don't know why. Like think of Ricky Gervais, The Office. You know, like it's always over politeness at the expense of
Oh
your
yeah.
own. Yeah. So in Alan Partridge, it's the final season of season one, I think, and basically he lives in a hotel and he's finally leaving this hotel, so he invites all the hotel staff up and whoever else wants to come to this shit party right in his room. Basically it's like there's a guy who's too polite, there's a guy who's too drunk, and everyone doesn't want to say anything, so like they end up just like nodding, smiling, laughing at the dumbest shit because no one wants to say, okay, this is boring, let's move on, you know.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, there's a guy like picks up a kitchen book and goes, "Oh yeah, I used to sell kitchens my whole life, but I never learned how to cook." And everyone does a polite laughter. And then the drunk guy like repeats it, like, "Oh, you won't believe what he said, right? He picked up
Hmm.
this book and then he says, I've been working in kitchens my whole life, but I never learned how to cook." You know, and then they all politely laugh again. It just keeps going on until someone's like, "All right, enough of this."
Hmm. You have to.
And it's like no one's being harmful, but it's like, okay, let's move on. We're in a loop now. By the way, that was a Geordie accent, in case you're wondering. And I didn't lay it on completely thick because I knew you wouldn't understand what I was saying. So
Oh,
I
I want
dialed
to
it
hear it laid
down.
on thick now.
It's like a boot. Like they don't say about, they say a boot. Oh, he cut his boot, right? Like that's how they talk. Good old Geordies. Okay, so I've circled a whole bunch of things here as we've been talking. So let's get into this. This is funny. I put TF because I was thinking that was the most, we don't have any boundaries.
Oh yeah.
That was where, like, if she was texting me or calling me, okay, I'll stay on as long as I can stay on. Like it's a lifeline for oxygen.
Yeah. Yeah. And you think that the other person is you, so you really have no boundaries.
Yeah, and
Like
I
I can
think,
just bother them all day because it's me.
and it's funny because now I'm not in that dynamic with them anymore. So I'm the one being like, they leave me the voice note last. I don't have to respond.
Yeah.
Before, I'd be like, last voice note, here's 30 more for you. Oh, she sent me 2 words, here's a paragraph, you know. I'm
Yeah.
having to be the one to like feed off this energy.
Yeah. And then you're like, the 2 words were like, hi there. And you're like, oh my God, my soul is saying hi to me.
So go on, Kandi. I've told you a bit about mine. When did you get hung up on your TFs? You know.
Oh, it was awful because he would always send me like a word, and then I would be like somehow making the word he sent like my soul sending me a secret message, and
And yeah, there
it
were
was
times where I
awful.
think they're addicted to it too, you know,
They
when they can
are.
handle it because they love it. They're like, yeah, let's just keep talking. And then they'll be, oh, I gotta go. Someone just came in the room. Oh, I gotta go. This came up. You know, I don't
Hmm.
even think they're like consciously being like, okay, I need to go now. They would continue it forever, but the energy disperses into something they're distracted by, you know.
Yeah, and I think it's not even necessarily a twin flame, just like relation dynamics. Like if you really enjoy talking to someone and being around them, sometimes you do have to just pull yourself away because you have things to do in your life.
True, yeah. And even your body, it tells you, I'm tired now. Even though I'm having
Yeah.
fun, I'm tired now. Listen to me, I'm a body. I'm not just a floating voice, you know?
It's really great when someone else can sense it with you. When like there's just something that says, "Okay, this conversation is done," and both of you agree to it at the same time.
Hmm. Yeah, and if that person is not 100% honest with themselves, they do the polite, like, no, we can keep
Yeah.
talking. You're like, I know you don't want to keep talking. Just say, like, you've got something to do. Because if you give me permission, I'll go for 4 more hours. My
Exactly.
my Mars is in Gemini, my Gemini Mars, you know, I could do this all day. But yeah, the twin flame is my perfect example, like zero boundaries. But oh my gosh, online dating. Here I go again, a million topics, right? But
Here I
online
go
dating,
again.
here I go again on my
I love
own.
every time I start singing a song, you start singing it too.
Wait, that's an English song, right? Do you know that song?
That's not English, is it? It's Whitesnake. Are they English?
What the fuck? I gave it like a Geordie spin, and am I in a different timeline now? Is this
You
a
are.
Mandela effect?
I was.
I was picturing like here I go again, like a Scottish one, like here
Maybe there's a
here I
cover.
go again on my own. Yeah, you know what? It might have been like Britain's Got Talent or X Factor. So yeah, you're right because it's a fucking 80s American song, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or 90s? Is it
It's a
80s,
very
90s?
American song.
Yeah, I'm picturing there was someone who did a
Here I
cover
go
to it.
again on my own. That's a very American.
Now I think is it Welsh or something, but there's a UK one which is an I would walk
Oh yeah.
500 miles just to be with.
I thought they were Irish.
I don't know. Welsh have a kind of twang. They talk like that. So if it's like that, I think Welsh. If I would walk 500, but it's hard. That whole Celtic zone is all one blurry language.
There's no
Um,
boundaries. Is that what you're
no
saying?
boundaries, exactly. Oh, that's interesting. So my point was the grid doesn't like you with boundaries. Think of like forced vaccination. Or how are you going to respect my boundaries? Think about forced abortions. Are you going to respect
Hmm.
my boundaries? Think about genitalia mutilation, like what they do with in some cultures with the woman's clitoris. I don't know if you know about this.
Yeah.
Do you know about this?
Yeah.
Yeah, because we literally have to learn it in England because there's a lot of girls, unfortunately, that come from those backgrounds and will have had that done to them. And we have to kind of be aware so we can alert the authorities that somebody's basically mutilated this young person's genitalia. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's fucked up here. But so there's that. And then there's also like the foreskin thing. Like, oh, you're not allowed a sheath to protect your penis. Let's just cut this thing off.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And I
Just
guess the biggest one is it like micro macro would be no borders. Like
yeah.
the European Union is one big blur of countries. Like, oh,
Uh-huh.
we don't respect your sovereignty. We dictate to you who can be in your country, the money you must use, who you trade with. You know, people wonder why Britain left Brexit, because sovereignty is in everyone's DNA.
Yeah.
Eventually, any type of world government, world overreach, top down hierarchy, it will collapse, right? Obviously, it requires energetic non consent from the people first,
Mm-hmm.
because when people support it, and this is why they always do it like a Trojan horse, it's always like, to benefit you. This will help you get richer. This will make you more free. You can travel
Yeah.
anywhere you want. You know, they have to do that so people energetically consent. If they
Mm-hmm.
said, this is government overreach so we can control and track where you are, we want a new North Korea here, everyone's going to be like, what?
Fuck
Like,
no.
I don't
Yeah.
consent to that. But if you say, we're protecting the kids, you know, we're tracking the
Well,
digital
that's
things
what
to
they
catch
do,
the
and then they invent
pedophiles.
the crisis that happened in the first place to get you to agree to it,
Oh,
like 9/11.
exactly. Oh, she went there.
Oh, I'll go there all day.
Yeah, I could go there all day. Oh, so that's let me go through my little list. So, and criminals we were talking about, and boundaries, because I've worked in a lot of behavioral schools, and I've also worked in prison. A lot of the prisoners come from behavioral schools, where this is schools they get kicked out of every other school. What I notice about them pattern wise is they've never learnt boundaries. So their parents have been abusers, drug abusers, etc. Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I didn't have kind. So yeah, parents have been like abusers, drug abusers, something like that. So that's very like, why are you doing that in front of your kid? Why are you abusing your kid? Why are you not respecting their boundaries? And then the kid doesn't respect other people's boundaries. The cycle repeats.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in
And
these behavioral schools, I thought this is the perfect place to teach them boundaries. What do you think they do, Candy?
do they actually learn them?
No, they give them free reign to be as violent and dangerous as they want, as
Hmm.
long as they don't kill someone. And
Wow.
I was like, that is not boundary.
No.
So like I've worked a few of these, but like one of them was so bad. I was there like 2 weeks, and I witnessed these kids beat up staff, right? And also attack other
Oh my
kids.
God.
When I intervened in them attacking another kid, they would say, just let them.
That's
Just let 'em."
crazy.
And I was like, no, you've got like three guys punching this little girl. I'm not going to just let them.
Yeah. And that's
And
the problem, right?
it's like that grid thing again. Like the grid's
Hmm.
just like no boundaries, ignore it, just let them all feral, just
Yeah,
whatever.
because and going back to dating, I think is like this is what's happening. I don't think you can really be in a healthy connection with someone if you don't have boundaries and if you're not sovereign in your own energy, because when you have a very intimate connection with someone, you're going to start energetically leaking into them, right? And if you
Mm.
can't pull back into being yourself and you instead become this couple, you're part of this couple and now you're not yourself anymore. Like,
Yeah, I noticed that with like teenage love, and then you see it online with the quote unquote simps, or
mhm.
like, there's a whole like red pill alpha male movement thing behind it, where they take photos of guys like Will Smith, and then they're like, look, see, the woman's the center of attention. Look, he's not even a real man. Or they have like Prince Harry, and be like, look, he's like Megan's in the focus of the frame. He's on the side. But there is some kind of truth to it. I don't give a shit about the alpha male then. But the truth is that energetically, they've somehow become subordinate
They've
to their partner.
collapsed. Yeah.
Yeah, they've become, I'm just you, and it's like, and the partner, if they're narcissistic, they feed on it to
Oh
a
yeah.
degree, don't they? Yeah.
Oh yeah, they love it. Because then it like when they want something or they want things to happen a certain way, if you have none of your own free will and you're just getting sucked into their energy, you'll just agree to shit that you think you want to do, but they really want to do it, but you can't tell the difference between what they want and what you want anymore.
Mm, that's powerful. Keep going. I was like,
Well,
I'm
yeah,
in
I mean,
something here. I'm like, keep going.
I've had that experience because I've been in a relationship with a narcissist, right? And that's what it
Yeah.
got. So, like, when I left, I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what I want. I don't know who I am because everything was just what he wanted. I didn't even know
Mm.
what it was like to have freedom and be able to make my own decisions.
Yeah, and I also think part of the issue with that is when that person goes, the person has this kind of identity collapse because
Hmm.
they've given up what they were. It's
Yeah,
similar to the cult if you think about it,
it
because it's
is.
this:
It really
I've
is.
given up who I am, not just like ego identity. I mean, like this person's given up their energetic like
Yeah, what's
uniqueness.
important to you, all of it.
Yeah, they've given up that for I am a hybrid of whatever this person thinks I am.
Hmm.
And so when they go, what are you then?
Yeah, and I see it. Like, I see also what I've learned is that no one else is responsible for my emotions, because that's another part of it, right? Is like, I see a lot of women who are like, I'm looking for this divine masculine who can hold me when I'm feeling sad. And it's all like the words are really saying, who can make me feel better, right?
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like, it's your responsibility to make you feel better. And if you're like subconsciously projecting that role onto the other person, then you lose yourself, right? You lose your own divine masculine.
Now, yeah, because you've outsourced it. It's very similar to what people do with God as well. If you
Yeah.
turn God into the Old Testament God, well, now life seems pretty fucking cruel. You know,
Yeah.
if you turn karma into like, this is why I'm suffering, man. I've got bad karma because of my past life. You basically like you're now the victim of, like there's no free will, there's no sovereignty, there's no movement. You're like a
Mhm.
stagnant river that's just being dumped with loads of rubbish. You're like, this is fate because God hates me.
Yeah, and I mean you're energetically consenting to it, and God is saying and so it is. Like, if
Yeah.
even the belief in karma, even the belief in karma itself is energetically consenting to just continuously living lives on this planet and being
Mm.
punished, and all that stems from this idea that God is going to punish us for our sins, right?
Yeah, and I noticed that even if you aren't religious, it's everywhere. It's
Yeah.
ingrained in our law, i.e., there's a judge with a big hammer, okay,
Mhm.
and they make you swear on a Bible. I mean, you also see just YouTube comments, whatever, just people who spam. The only way for forgiveness is through Christ.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they're bots. Like, is that a human? But anyway, like, and even if you don't believe in it, like you're like for atheists, whatever, deep down, subconsciously, it's like programming, right? It's been so in you that if you have an NDE or an out of body experience or something where 3D reality becomes malleable, you'll come across aspects of whatever these things are that you've subconsciously agreed to some
Mhm.
extent. You know, yeah.
Yeah, and
Like
I mean,
how much more do I open it up, or should I move on?
I don't know, it's up to you.
Well, I kind of wanted to go into, you mentioned about, I wanted to talk about the distorted divine masculine plus real and the distorted divine feminine plus real of what we think they are.
All
Because you
right, let's
mentioned
go.
earlier, women have what's their distorted divine masculine? It's this, he's supposed to be everything for me, or like you were talking to
Mhm.
someone along that line. So just continue with that. Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel it's you're basically wanting someone else to fill the role of being your masculine energy. And you'll see in like most couples throughout history is that's what people are doing. It's like I can't access my own divine masculine, so now you have to, and then the masculine is I can't access my divine feminine, so now you become my divine feminine,
So
right?
give
And
me a
then
common like things, because I've got my own idea, but obviously I'm not a lady. So give me your.
yeah, of just like it's like I can't access the nurturing, loving side of me. So now the only person I can the person that expresses that part of me is my wife, right? And now my wife is the one calling my mom and having emotional talks. My wife is the one like sending
So
thank you cards and doing shit like
yeah,
that, right?
tell
It's
me
like
like what things you've witnessed with other women or yourself that you've projected onto a man that he's supposed to fulfill, and you haven't even realized that he hasn't signed up for that. But in your brain,
yeah,
you're
I
like
think the
supposed
number
to be
one
this.
thing that women push on men is that they have to provide for them, that they have to protect them, that they have to basically be the strength that never moves and is
Mm,
always steady, right? Which then means the man isn't allowed to have emotions and
yeah, they're just like a a big heavy titanium ship or something. I don't know if
Yeah, that makes
titanium
lots of
floats, but
money.
yeah, like they're just this machine of a thing.
Hmm. Yeah, and then I've seen, like, I've experienced a lot where the men wants to put me in the role of being like the mother too, like cleaning for them and cooking for them, and that
Yeah,
I see a lot as well.
I see. There's another fascinating part there, but like in terms of the DM, DF, TF, DM, DF, you gotta learn these lingos, bro, if you want to be spiritual. Yeah, so in terms of the DM, what women project, from what I've experienced on my side, that's true to a degree, but also they're looking for this cry on the shoulder. I should be able to cry on his shoulder all the time. He should always be there for me. I should be able to
Yeah.
text him and he appears. He's like a genie, I just rub this lamp and boom, he's there.
Yeah, and
And
what's
then
under that, right? Is like I want someone else to make me feel better because I can't face the emotions within myself and hold myself through them.
yeah, or they want to be showered with love and praise. Oh, queen, you're so beautiful, queen. I
Yeah.
love you. Oh my gosh, you slay, babe. And it's like, you want a gay best friend.
Yeah, well,
This isn't your partner.
even like I've seen so many women are like, "Oh, he never calls me beautiful," and they'll be like yelling at their spouse, like, "Why don't you say that about me?" And it's like that's your own insecurity,
Hmm.
right? That's not it has nothing to do with the other person. Like you need someone else to validate you is what's really happening, right? Whereas if you really believed you were beautiful, you really wouldn't give a shit if someone told you you were or not. You would just know it.
That is interesting because in my earlier dynamics, relating to others, because there wasn't that, there's still need, right? Every human has need, but because there wasn't as much as what they were used to, they would assume I wasn't that into them. So they'd always give me this thing like, "Oh, I just feel like you're not that into me," and it's
Yeah.
like I'd be like, "Why?" And then they'd say stuff like, "Well, my ex or my partner does, he does his thing. He's always there. He's always texting. He's always buying me things," and I'm like, "Yeah, but isn't that to overcompensate for something?
Uh-huh.
Like, does that
Well,
make sense?"
people don't realize it, right? And I mean, yeah, everyone has needs, and I think it's important to like realize what your needs are, but I think it's also important that you're meeting your own needs because no relationship is guaranteed, right? You make someone the source of your validation of your own beauty,
Hmm.
then what happens when they're gone?
Yeah, and also that's that weird thing of like you're not allowed to have male female friends.
Yeah.
It's like this person has to be everything for you: your social
Hmm.
buddy, your drinking buddy, your spiritual buddy, your 3D buddy, your work colleague, your boss, your employer, your father, your brother, your sister, your
Yeah.
mother. It's like, what?
And it's just too much, right? And I love, like, A Course in Miracles says that there's something called the special relationship, and it's like the biggest trap of the ego. That it has this idea that if this other person could just fulfill this role and make you whole, then you wouldn't have to do any work, you wouldn't have to heal, right? You'd just be in perfect love all the time.
Does it
And
ever go that way?
no,
In
right?
the history of every relationship ever?
No, but there's the fantasy that it will, right?
Yeah, and I also think so. That's my version, like the fake one. But I think the real divine masculine shows up almost like divinely. It shows up when there's a kairos moment, I'd call it, like just a now moment. He's there.
Hmm.
He's not at your beckoning call. He's not a speed dial, but it's like he's there when you shift. He's there when you collapse. He's there when you flourish. He's
Yeah.
there in those moments, not slave ring the bell, like butler
Yeah, and
thing.
you're not gonna actually get that in real life until you become it within yourself, right? Like the only time I've had a man who has been consistently there for me, whether it be a friend or a partner, has been after I have learned to be present with myself. When I learned to hold myself when I'm crying, when I learned to like just allow my feelings to exist and to be present with them, that's when
Mm,
I then got the reflection in physical reality of having men who are capable of doing that.
yeah. And you mentioned before about you kind of emphasize the biological aspects where the women want them to protect, help them
Yeah.
survive, kind of thing. That's so it's very biological. But the spiritual one, I would kind of say, is well, what is spiritual protection? It's the awareness that nothing can harm you without consent, right?
Exactly.
The other version of survival, what's the spiritual version? Well, it's the idea that there everything will eventually provide somehow. It might not necessarily provide in a six-figure income or whatever. So
Mhm.
if maybe if women trusted more that aspect in the partner, they wouldn't be so dependent on the sugar daddy slash best friend slash best lover slash, you know what I mean, all these tick
Yeah, and well,
boxes
you
kind of thing.
limit yourself, right? And the way I look at it is like my divine masculine is God. So God is going to protect me. God is going to provide for me. I'm not going to limit it to one other person. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
and God through me, right? Like if I get a job and make money, it's still God providing me with that opportunity. It's still coming from me, right? It's not coming from something outside of me
yeah.
saving me or something. And I think too in relationship, it's like I why would I need someone to physically protect me if I'm energetically protecting myself, right? If the boundary they aren't going to get to me. Like and that's my experience is like when I've gone out before I knew about energy and everything, people would just come up to me and be creepy and now that I have these energetic boundaries, like I just look at them and they walk away, right? Like
And
they
it's almost
know.
like we could paint a picture, right? Let's say the woman seeks out this 6'6" MMA bodybuilder, whatever, right? And he's like, "I'll protect you." Some thug guy comes up to you and he just knocks him out, sparks him out. He's on the floor, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm with a good man." But the same thing can happen from the true divine masculine representation. And guess what? The guy doesn't even enter the vicinity. You never see him because the
Yeah.
energetic bubble is so strong that you're almost in your own world with this person. You don't see anyone else. You don't even hear anyone else. When you talk
Mhm.
with them, it's like 8 hours just went by. You're like, what the fuck? That
Yeah.
see, you see the difference?
Oh yeah, I have that all the time. And you know what? It's crazy because another aspect of the protection thing is I realize that like when I have this energetic protection around myself, men around me will respond to it and become protective of me, right? So it's like it doesn't have to
Yeah,
be a
yeah.
partner.
They're reflecting the resonance you provided, your
Yeah,
signal. Yeah,
exactly. It doesn't even have to be a partner, right? It could be like I go dance at a bar all the time and all the men that sit around me are watching to make sure no creepers come over here. Like the
yeah,
I
yeah.
know the what are they called? Bouncers. So like if anything happens, I know who to go to, right? Like it's like the environment also like almost forms around you as a protection.
Yeah, exactly. And let's say something happens. Let's say you're not in the best zone at the moment. Crazy, creepy rapist guy walks up, but your boyfriend's there, right? And then
Yeah.
let's say he just does a Jedi thing. He's just like, nah, you're not welcome here. Be gone.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be the 3D idea of
I'm gonna beat you up.
yeah, yeah. Although I still think sometimes that is needed. But I'm not saying
Yeah, like
it's
I was just
I'm not
talking to
saying you
someone the
go around
other
beating up
day.
crackheads. But what I'm saying is the field almost tells you when to punch. The field tells you when to kick.
Yeah.
When I learnt like Jeet Kune Do from Bruce Lee, it's called the way of the intercepting fist. So you intercept the attack. You're not exactly the provocateur or the aggressor, but when it comes,
Hmm.
there's a way you just flow and deal with it, right?
Yeah.
But it is funny in the West, especially when I was listening to Joe Rogan, he would dismiss Aikido as this bullshit made up martial art because it's not applicable in the UFC ring. And I was like, the UFC ring is the bullshit made up thing. It's a sport, a blood sport with millions of bucks thrown into it.
Well, I mean that's
The
just
real life
him,
is the
right?
energetic reality of things. And if the energetic reality of things is interception, flow, dismiss, recharge energy, aren't those principles more important to learn instead of I'm going to break this guy's skull?
Yeah, but then you're asking someone who doesn't have any frame of energetic reality to see that, right? They're not going to see
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I'm not like making an us versus them, East versus
Yeah.
West. Like, I don't give a fuck about that. But I just found it funny that he dismisses an energetic principle as useless because it doesn't work in this cage. Well,
Mhm.
of course it doesn't work in this cage. That's an artificial environment. But
Well, it's probably also like what's applicable to him, right? Because when is he going to be fighting? Most likely in a cage, not on the side of the road, right?
yeah, well, Joe Rogan's just a commentator, so he's not even fighting anywhere. But like, the truth is, yeah, a lot of these people take on these disciplines in martial arts. It's not that they have to use them all the time. It's the fact that there's something changed in their energetic body. People don't want to fuck with them. That's it,
Yeah.
really.
And it's funny, I don't know why it reminds me of a story where I was in Walmart with my ex, the abusive one, and this dude just walked past me and like put his hand back and just grabbed my whole ass.
Damn.
And he didn't do anything. My
Who
ex,
didn't do anything?
my ex, he's just like, "Oh, it's fine."
What?
Yeah.
He was so Eckhart Tolle. He was like, "This is the moment.
No, he was a
We'd
pussy. That's
nothing
what
to
it
do
was.
here.
He was like, "I
They
don't
might
think you really did that. I think
They
you're just
might
making it
grab the
up."
arse, but maybe the arse is an illusion." I'm playing, but yeah, continue.
Yeah, no, I think it was just that he's a pussy, but he was like, "I
That's
don't even
there.
think he grabbed your ass. I think you're just making it up."
And I'm not some fucking angelic Saint Michael archangel. Like, I don't have a fucking sword around, I don't have a magic anything with women. But I did notice that depending on what state I'm in, sometimes it's like, I'm not going out like, yeah, if you fuck with me and watch what happens. I'm more going out there like, this is my domain. This is my realm. I
Yeah.
claim dominion over this. This is something like that, whether it's conscious, subconscious, I don't know. And things just kind of flow, right? But when I'm in an us versus them, or, oh my God, there's a big gang over there on the council estate, and I'm sweating,
Hmm.
I'm tired, I'm anxious. That's where things get messy, blurred lines. But at
Yeah.
any point, the energetic agreements are always there. And we could do a whole podcast on that because it's a complicated subject, right?
Very complicated.
But I'd say because we are 1 hour 27 minutes in, we should probably end it with, we spoke about the DM distorted and divine version, just briefly, but like, and now we could do the DF, which means down to fuck. No, I'm joking. It means divine, divine feminine. That's my distorted version. It's
Oh
like,
my
yeah, she's always
god.
down to fuck. She's always there. She gives me blowjobs 24/7. Steaks, blowjob steak. Like, okay,
Steaks.
so what is your version of like the man's distorted divine feminine that he pushes onto you? You kind of mentioned it before, but let's like
Yeah,
open it
I
a bit.
mean, I think there's like the aspect of being the caretaker, the aspect of like
A
having
maid.
to, yeah, and then having to be like the emotional support system. I guess the sexual thing to some degree, it's just I have a high sex drive, so I don't ever feel like the man expects me to have sex with him.
Yeah.
So, but I'm sure some women could, like, if they don't feel comfortable with it, they don't want to, and then they're doing it anyways, like
Hmm.
they're expected to. I'm sure there are plenty of relationships like that.
There's a lot of things with that, with like blowjobs with women. Like, some women are like, I do it because I'm rewarding him or punishing him. I'll stop doing it so I can punish
Yeah,
him
that's fucked
and then
up.
reward him with. So what the fuck's that about?
Um, so I've never done that, but I've heard women who like use sex as a control mechanism. That's what it is, right?
But where does that stem from?
I don't know,
Is it like a
because
power trip because
I
they're
think the feminine in distortion is very manipulative. Like she's gonna do whatever she can to get what she wants,
yeah, the
and
male
it's
is a
not.
physical distortion. It's like, I'll dominate physically. The female
Yeah.
is always, I'll manipulate mentally,
Hmm. Like talking to friends and family to get them to talk to him to make
Oh yeah.
him. That's very like sneaky.
I'd say the distorted feminine for me is like, I've witnessed this from the communities. They assume that this woman is supposed to be some Virgin Mary, right?
Hmm.
Like, there's no, she's not a slut. She dresses as such. She's modest, whatever. And then they also want the slut, the thin, but just for them, like privately hidden, you know. And it's almost like they're worried that if she expresses a true feminine in public, someone will take her away.
Oh yeah, and that's the also the Madonna versus the whore thing. Have you ever gone into that?
Yeah, I mean, this is the incel thing I'm kind of talking about, isn't it? It's these incels have this idea that virgin good, whore bad, and
Hmm.
it's these almost binary labels that separate people based on sexuality. Imagine you did that with men. Whenever a
Yeah.
man is horny, oh my god, he's demonic and satanic. Oh, he's so demonic, man, so satanic. He talked about having sex. Ugh. But then if it's, like the opposite, like he's hiding away, it'd be like, wow, he's a true Christian or something. No, he's shy,
No,
he's
now
timid.
if a man's doing that, everyone's like, "Wow, he's a loser. He's not getting laid."
Yeah, exactly. It's the opposite, right? I think now we can separate biology and thing as well, because
Hmm.
biological, I get it. Like men can go around spreading their seed. There's little consequence on their part, but the woman obviously bears a kid, and if multiple guys have sex with this woman, they're going to be like, "How do I know that's my kid?" So biologically, we can understand where that comes from. However, energetically, spiritually, or the spirit behind them, the flame inside, that living thing expresses itself every which way it wants to, sexually,
It's like the
emotionally.
possession thing, right?
Mm.
Because those men they don't actually want a partner, they want a possession.
Yeah, they want, and also
And they want to know that no one else, like, oh, they don't want to go buy a car that someone else drove. Right.
that's such a stupid analogy, but like, there's
It
also the
is a
thing of
stupid
like,
analogy, but it works, right? Like
yeah,
that.
but like,
And it
it
just
makes no
reminds me
sense. They
of,
also they want to. Oh, she's great in bed, but she never had sex.
have you ever seen, I think it's called What We Do in the Dark, and it's like one of those like fake documentaries, but it's vampires. And they're like trying to track down a virgin to eat. And then
Oh.
someone's like, "Why are you eating a virgin?" And they're like, "Well, if you were going to eat a sandwich, wouldn't you prefer that someone didn't fuck it first?"
Yeah, that's the perfect analogy. I don't want it crap where I eat, kind of thing. Um,
Yeah, and I think it's that. It's like, and if you really want to get deeply into it, I believe that the whole incel thing stems from the fact that the man already views himself as unworthy. So a
yeah, yeah.
woman being with him then becomes unworthy. So if you have this like fundamental subconscious belief that you are unworthy and all men are unworthy, then a woman sleeping with a man somehow devalues herself. What's devaluing her? Being with
Mm.
a man,
I
right?
also think when the guys cut off their inner child and they're so serious, I'm a businessman, I'm this, they then project. It's like when a woman is just feminine or something, that's their inner child like looking at them, and they're like, oh, I need it.
Kill it.
No, they're
Oh.
like, I need it, I want it. She's so sexy, she's so cute, man, she's so sexy. It's like, it's just because you denied your inner child. She's expressing a slight fractal version of it, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because guys are kind of like, she's so, they love this submissive idea. So when the woman's like giggly or cute or something, they're like, oh, I need it. And
Yeah.
there's a natural part of that because it's just a feminine masculine play, but also when it's that over thin, like the spending £1 million on OnlyFans to watch a video of it, it's
Yeah.
because you denied that inner child in you that was giggly, fun, quirky, odd, spontaneous, silly. You've decided, no, that is a feminine feature. I will outsource it to this
I'm
feminine
not allowed
person.
to giggle.
Exactly, yeah. Like I could be goofy as fuck. It doesn't mean that I'm any less of a of a man.
So what you're saying is we should have a retreat centers where we teach men how to giggle again.
Nah, because that sounds kind of gay.
We're gonna tickle them. We're gonna.
No, that's gay. No, what I mean is, I mean that's not even it, right? Because there's no teaching. It's just that they have to come to terms with the fact that there's a part of them they've denied. I
Yeah.
even think they push it out in their games because they'll play video games, and then they almost project it onto like, I'm having fun, but they're not really. They're just like in a haze. They're trying to
Yeah.
recapture their youth of when they used to play games and they was silly, free, and fun.
Hmm.
You but yeah, now let's talk about the actual divine feminine, which I kind of, yeah, you go first and I'll give you my one.
You just want me to explain what I think it is?
Yeah, what you think the true divine feminine, not this distorted one that guys
Well,
project
I
onto
mean,
women.
I think both. like we've discussed, this both exist within you. So to me, like the divine feminine part of me is like the goddess, is like Shakti, just the energy of creation itself, right? And
Mm.
it's just like creativity, being able to fully feel and be here like in a body, and to feel everything, to feel like sad, to feel happy, and to enjoy all of that
Mm,
in
yes.
a way. And also to just allow yourself to express, right? Like expression through whatever form, art,
Oh yeah.
dance, like to me that's all divine feminine. But there's also this aspect of it that's just this knowing, right? Like this just complete faith and confidence in your own divine masculine or God, whatever you want to call it, that allows you to move through the world almost like nonchalantly, like nothing's bothering you, nothing, you just trust that everything is moving exactly as it's supposed to in every moment. And even if something like catastrophic happens, there's still a part of you that's like, this is okay, right? And to me, when I really get into my divine feminine, sometimes they like the aspects split off within me, and I can like feel my divine feminine outside of me, like holding
Mm,
me. It's just that nurturing,
yeah.
loving energy, right?
And in relationships with others, how do you think it shows up for them through you? You know.
I think through like through me being able to like hold space for their emotions, allow them to express, allow
Mm,
them to be who they really are without trying to control it, you know, just being surrendered to what's happening with them in the moment, instead of in my head worrying like, oh, he said this, well maybe it means this, and blah blah blah,
yeah. Yeah.
right? And it's just like this peaceful presence too that I experience a lot, where I feel my divine feminine is just online, like just to be there and to, I don't want to say witness someone, but almost just be present with someone in this actual world, not in your head.
Hmm. Yeah.
And the
To me.
nurturing, like the nurturing comes out, like I'm a very nurturing person. Like
Yeah.
I'll, like if, like for example, if I'm really in love, I have no problem like doing someone's laundry for them occasionally, or cooking for them, right? That just comes out as an expression of love. It's like when the person expects you to, it's a different energy.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel that. So I'll try to talk like the divine feminine energy, and then I'll move into relationship dynamics. But yeah, I
Mhm.
feel the when it's in energy, it holds you at your
Yeah.
when you break, right? So if you think about whether you're man or woman, right, you tend to crumble, break, things burn out, whatever, right? And in that moment, the feminine just wraps you in this
Yeah.
velvety, whatever it is,
Mhm.
and it witnesses you in pure love and admiration. It's like when whether you've got a baby and the baby's looking at you with that pure admiration. It's kind of like that, but they still have it as, yeah, I'm saying like an energy, right? But I'm like, as an adult, or it's like the motherly, grandmotherly wife, whatever, looking at you in that beautiful admiration. But then another thing I feel is it floods you with almost like tsunami waves of love,
Yeah.
right? I don't know if the divine masculine does that. I think the
No.
divine masculine kind of takes the waves of love and turns it into something, like inspired by it. Like, wow,
Yeah,
let's
and
go
I
out
think,
and I'm so alive. But the woman just non-stop waves waves of unconditional love just pouring and pouring
well,
and
I
pouring.
think if you look at like just biologically, and I find it fascinating because everyone always says the masculine's the container, and it doesn't even make sense because like look at sexually what's happening. Like the vagina is literally wrapping around. It's the container. It's holding, right?
Yeah, the womb is this ocean of love.
Yeah.
They're a big watery body of love.
Hmm.
The guy is dedicating, inspired by pouring into it and receiving back.
Yeah, and then within your like within myself, how it works is like my divine feminine is holding me this field around me, you know, holding this field of love around me.
Mm,
It's not trying to control the outcome. It's not trying to get me to do something. It's just there holding it, right? And I
Mm.
find that like in relationship too, like when I'm just there holding the man in this energy, I don't have to do anything but that, you know.
Mm. Physically as well, I'd say like there was a dynamic where I was drinking a lot with this girl, and we were out partying like one night after another. And you know when you do that, you're burnt out. Your system's a bit burnt out, right? And frazzled.
Yeah.
You haven't been sleeping, right? So I think I got emotional because they criticized like a movie I liked. You know, that was like one of
They
my favorite
criticized a
films.
Shania Twain song.
No, just you, Kandi. But no, so they criticized like a movie that was meant a lot to me because it was like a movie I watched just before my mum died. It meant a lot, etc. And they were just like, "Yeah, I don't think it's all that." And in that moment, obviously, I was like, "What do you mean?" And then I think I can't remember why I cried, but I broke down crying, right? And they just did this like it was like they switched into this caretaker mode, and then they like made me this tea, made me a breakfast, gave me like a hot, what's that called? Like
Oh,
the water. What's that thing called that you put on you? That's like it's got hot water, but it's a hot water bottle. Yeah, like one of
mhm.
those. Like, and again, I don't need it, but it's this idea of like, oh no, I just want to wrap you with love or comfort you or
Yeah, but do you see like what's under that too though is this like the difference I feel is cuz I've been in that energy is like, "Oh, you're feeling an emotional disturbance. Let's stop it and let's calm you down and bring you down." Whereas like the true divine feminine is just like, "Let's allow this."
well, no, they're listening the whole time
Mhm.
attentively, and then they're doing this just like you know what I mean? It's almost like
Yeah.
second nature to them to just wrap you in this warmth or something as you're breaking or shattering.
Mhm.
And I think, yeah, so that's kind of how I've experienced free. There's other moments, obviously, but I say in general, not just me, but in relationships, I feel the divine feminine when she is unapologetically feminine. The same could go for the guy, right? But it's the feminine is not like submissive, but
Yeah.
it is expressive.
Mhm.
It's bold. It's courageous, but it's also because it's not the word submissive. We spoke about this last time. I don't like the word submit, but like
Yeah.
there's another thing for it where you are
Surrender.
surrendered. Yeah, and it surrenders. So it has all this courage, expression, whatever, and then just it collapses into surrender.
And
These are
I think
very
that's how
feminine dynamics.
yeah, and I think that's how the distortion comes because you can feel that and see that and experience that where like if you're a man, the woman is surrendering to you, but she's doing so of her own free will. And if you really want to get into like dominant submissive cuz I went way too deep into that kink during my hoe phase.
Yeah,
And guess what? I just want to say this publicly. We are all cosmic hoes. We have all slept with each other in past lives, so get over it.
not me.
We all have a
I
high
was just
body
a
count.
monk in a cloud
Yeah,
in
for
Nexus
every
9.
past life, for every you could have been a prostitute in France. You don't even know. So, what was I saying? Now, okay. So in that,
Why do
like,
people always say? I'm just remember we said Cleopatra. That's another
yeah,
one. People say prostitute in France. Like,
I
why
don't
are
know
there
if
these
I said, and that
archetypes
just
of past
came to me.
lives?
I've never said that before. It just came to me, but
Oh, everyone says that. Like, oh, it's probably a prostitute in France. Like, it's a thing. I'm like, huh? I
I
think
didn't
it's
even know it.
Titanic
I've never
because
heard anyone say
in
it.
Titanic, Leo draws a one-legged prostitute from France. So probably that's in people's subconscious, and they
Maybe.
when they do their oh, I'm connected with my past life, they're just remembering Titanic.
Yeah, but the thing is like the dom understands that like all of this the person who really holds the power is the submissive because the submissive has to quote unquote submit or like when it's a more pure exchange it's a
Mm,
surrender, right? So the dom almost sees the power as being the feminine. They don't see
yeah,
it as
yeah.
like they're dominating her.
Can I say to go back to what you talk about rules in dating with when you sleep with them? This is my theory on it. The distorted version is I'm a boss babe queen and you can't get this pussy. I'm a boss babe
Yeah.
queen. And then they're like, okay, it's been 3 dates. You can hit, right? But the
Yeah.
natural, like, real one is she's bold, courageous out there, bold, courageous out there. You're just like drawn to it like a bee to a flower, right? And then she surrenders. The flower just like accepts, just envelops
Yeah.
the bee, and the
And
bee is like in nirvana. You know, that's the difference.
yeah. And to do that, you can't have these rules, right? You have to allow energy to be expressed as it is. So like, you might meet someone who like the energy doesn't feel right to surrender to until the third date, or you might meet someone that on the first night you're like, take me right now. Like,
Yeah.
you have to be in tune with that part of yourself to know the difference.
Yeah, and like you said, Shakti can't be controlled, right?
No, she can't.
Neither by man nor woman.
You know.
No mortal man or
Maybe not
woman
even
can
by
control.
herself.
Say that again.
Not even by herself.
Yeah, and I'm learning that, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm learning this Kundalini thing solo before I involve anyone else. And even solo, it is something you think, oh, because it's me, I can just do whatever I want. I can have control of my body. But it's not a physical thing. It's an energy that sometimes wants to be gym, sometimes wants to be music, sometimes wants to be sexual. It dances
Yeah.
between them. And I feel that the soul is like, if Kundalini is like an instrument on earth, okay, the soul is like the composer, doing the whole,
Yeah.
I'm going to say when this one goes off and when that Kundalini rises, and it's having like a lot of fun doing that, and then you're like all of it together.
Yeah, and I think like you kind of do have to learn to do it solo before you can do it in relationship to someone else.
Do you though, or does the Kundalini just decide now?
That's very true.
Because that's us trying to control it again, right?
Yeah.
But no, like for me, yeah,
But
just
that's what I'm saying is like, I don't know, from my experience, I had to learn to do it solo before it could
yeah,
actually be
yeah, yeah.
expressed healthily in relationship to someone else.
Mm. And yeah, so I think that's a good one to end it on. Any last words before we catch you guys next week? Kandi,
No,
anything?
I don't have any words.
We should have like a little outro. What should we do?
I don't know. We got to think about it. It's got to just come
Cat
to me.
with Kandi, honest with Henry. See you next week on the True Flames podcast.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.